Hey, I'm Torte. These are the best heroes to play right now in 7.39D again. It's been a long time since this patch is still going, so I figured I'd make an update video, even though it's mostly about the same heroes. It's going to be a little bit of a different style, so just let me know if you like this style or you prefer the more tightly scripted, a little bit more monotone style of video, and let's dive right into it. Alright, let's talk about the most obvious one to pick here, Ursa. Really just an absolute beaut of a hero. He can play really both styles of the laning stage. That's really what makes him so strong. This is an incredible hook, by the way. I think his innate ability Maul is still incredibly good early on. It was nerfed in 7.39D. You can see here the nerf where the damage scales a little bit less than before, right? Instead of 1.5 at max level, it's now 1.25, which is similar to what you had initially at the beginning, except slightly more. So the real appeal about Maul is, I would not say it's the late stage. I would really say it's the early game, where you can see this hero has already like 58%, 58 damage. And because Maul pretty much scales with your HP, the more starting stat items you pick up, like, I don't know, like a couple Iron Branches, triple Iron Branches, the more your initial for level 1, level 2 damage will be pretty easy in being able to secure last hits on creeps. And the hero, again, can kind of play both influences or both styles of the laning stage. He could be relatively passive and just secure last hits while slightly tapping his opponents through the use of his Fury Swipes. Or he can play aggressive like with the Pudge or with Shadow Shaman or Lion, right? Anyone that can slow or stun. Dazzle's another good one. And that really just makes his lane stage all the more aggressive, all the more hyperactive for a hero that 100% has no damage problems. I mean, look at that. That's just, I mean, these hooks are just incredible. But you can see the hero just needs to tap you like 3-4 times. Doesn't even need his Empower ability. It's called Overpower, excuse me. If he gets it, great. You can lay down those stacks a little bit harder. If not, all he needs is a consistent slow, and he can pretty much just secure the lane against really a lot of offlaners you think would be good. Like Aghs, Aghs sometimes can have a pretty easy lane, pretty good comfortable lane depending on his 4. Doom's another hero that, would be relatively comfortable in the lane. A hero like Dawnbreaker as well. Like all these heroes generally have some tank ability. Even Centaur has some tank ability in the lane to at least go toe-to-toe with a lot of these carries. For Ursa, it's just not possible. You 100% get bullied out, and it just makes your lane incredibly difficult. And then for Ursa, that means he can go into the jungle quite quickly. He can get that farming done relatively fast as well. It means he gets his items very fast. So items like, Blink Dagger, BKB, I think is all he really needs. You can get the Axe at the Axe Shard if you want. Skull Bash is another popular one. So this is kind of the other reason why Ursa is just so good. I mean, you can see now he's taking Roshan. I mean, when you have a lead like that, I mean, 14k lead at 26 minutes is pretty nuts for an 8.5, 7.5k MMR game. The fact you can take Ursa really quickly helps secure the pushings on those towers, take fights really easily when you have that lead, and you can finish the game in 30 minutes. The other thing that makes him so great is that he has 2 facets, right? One is the one you're seeing now, which is just absolutely annoying to deal with, whether you're reviving Kara or anyone else, is whenever Ursa is damaged, during his enrage, he gains bonus attack damage. So items like Aghs Scepter, which gives you, lets you activate your ultimate ability whenever you want, or the Aghs Shard, which lets you activate your enrage ability whenever you pop Earthshaker, which you can see here he has a shard. And then you can get 2 charges of Earthshaker at level 25, which isn't hard to reach at all for Ursa. It means that you have a hero that's just constantly avoiding taking a lot of damage against, let's say, a troll who just wants to consistently nail someone down and finish them off. But also it means that the hero gains a lot of pushback damage that he can then take enemies on or take towers down really quickly, right? You can pop Enrage on towers or even at Fountain and build up a ton of damage, and then you have your attack speed through Overpower to just wipe out whatever target you want. It's really, I mean, Ursa's right now is just really the best of both worlds. He has a really nice laning stage, moves transition to the jungle, doesn't really sweat all that out, and then after that he doesn't really have any problems towards the late game. As long as you keep that momentum going, you keep the damage going, and you keep the pressure going, I think overall most people feel they'll have a great time playing as Ursa. Okay, I think this is a hero everybody knows is too strong. Nature's Prophet. I know he's great as a support. He's great as a ganking pause too for any Smurfs out there that need a tip on which hero to annoy the shit out of their enemies. And he's obviously still great as a pause 1. I mean, they did nerf his Sprout, but he still manages to really stay on top as one of the best range carries. He scales crazy well in terms of stats, regardless of the stage of the game. And a hero that can teleport anywhere on the map, can deal a ton of damage, has not really a stun, but it's a CC crowd control with Sprout that can heal himself in the lane. I mean, that's just it's a perfect storm of like absolute misery for anybody playing Dota 2 that doesn't play Nature's Prophet. It is just a fantastic hero. The Sprout nerf was, I think, meant to minimize kind of his impact or lane dominance as a support hero, but I mean, the Sprout can still heal when you trap yourself in it, protects you from damage if you need to, and then on top of that, if you eat a tree off the Sprout, you're gonna get even more value out of that Tango than you would if you ate any other trees. I mean, it's just selective bias over here. You're gonna see this fight here is pretty nutty and it's pretty annoying. You can really see the pressure he's able to put without really putting himself in danger, right? Like the moment the guy pounces, he'll sprout himself or he'll sprout him just to deal some damage. And the Invoker adds some nice crowd control so that the constant output of damage, there it is, there's a sprout. I mean, God, that's so annoying. That's so annoying. Look at this. God, what do you do? This is like a what, a level 1, level 2 fight? It's just, it's incredible. Brutal. So similar to Ursa, with a really great leading stage for a hero, can be aggressive, can be passive, whatever you want. It leads the hero to then have an also very comfortable farming stage to get his core items, and he can easily reach Maelstrom without breaking his back. It's probably one of the first times you pick up for Nature's Prophet. Gives great attack speed. Obviously, the damage follow through at an incredible range for Nature's Prophet means that Maelstrom can do consistent level damage for any stacks you're fighting up against, or against anyone he sprouts and wants to attack from afar. So Maelstrom pretty much the first pickup there. You have a global ability, right, with your ultimate. So Wrath of Nature means you get some easy assist gold that also accelerates all your farming at an incredible pace. Now for the Nature's Prophet late game bonanza, right? Just split pushes any tower he wants. If there's a fight going on, he's going to TP right when the opportunity comes up. You can TP from behind, can TP in front. Just got to make sure you TP late into a fight, not first. You can see the itemization he gets are everything you would think typical carry, range carry would get. Butterfly, Mjolnir, BKB, Hurricane Pike. Here comes the TP. And look where he TP's. TP's literally right in the middle. Knows he could take any fight because there comes the egg to try and prevent that. Just going to whale that down and pretty much wrap it up. And the fight's already over too. So you can see Nature's Prophet just here to clean up an otherwise already finished game at 25k net worth. Just one thing you should know as a carry for Nature's Prophet is that you're not going to be maxing out Sprout whatsoever. You're going to be really maxing out the stats. That's kind of essential for any Nature's Prophet player out there that wants to transition from support to carry. But you could play him totally as a support. Spear Vessel and the Shard pretty much wipes out a lot of health on the enemies, and it's an AoE, right? Your Shard is an AoE, Curse of the Old Growth. So in reality, you're really going to be just dealing a ton of damage globally across the map before a hero. You can also build Blade Mail if you feel like you're getting targeted a lot, or feel like you want to create that concern or dilemma for enemies. Should I be attacking Nature's Prophet? If I run away, he's going to sprout me and attack me. If you want to be a nightmare in the lane as a mid laner, you should probably pick Leshrac. Leshrac is a pretty annoying hero. The moment you misstep, or if you don't have a hero that has any real escape ability, like let's say a Queen of Pain with Blink, then you're pretty much dead. I mean, you can see this here. Look, he catches the Necrophos out, runs him straight down, and there's no thing you can really do to stop that damage, especially as a Necrophos. The Misanthropy or Misanthropy, whatever you want to call this ability, maybe some English speakers can tell me, basically makes your Diabolic Edict damage incredibly quickly. It doesn't work on buildings, but it means that anyone that you catch out and is single targeted from your Diabolic Edict, which by the way is pure damage, so BKB cannot stop it either, you're pretty much dead. So for Necrophos here, has really no protection against Leshrac, and the slow from the lightnings here, the lightning storm, means that you're pretty much automatic dead. And giving Leshrac that kind of lead is very scary, because you're going to see in a second, Leshrac is going to get his Blink Dagger in a very, very fast timing, and it just means he's going to barrel through all the other lanes. And that's really why Leshrac is just so good right now, is that he creates a lot of space and a lot of advantage for the other lanes by solely existing with his ultimate Pulse Nova and his Diabolic Edict and just running out the lanes, or targeting, let's say, a support to make it a very uneven lane for the side lanes. But otherwise, laning stage as Leshrac, it's very easy, right? You have a pretty great attack range, so you're rarely in danger. Your Lightning Storm is incredibly annoying to deal with. It's always going to target the enemy as long as they have vision of it. And it just means that having a smooth laning stage means Blink Daggers early and you roam out the other lanes. So it's like I told you, this guy got his Blink Dagger in 9 minutes. He already has 7 kills. I'm pretty sure that's all Necrophos. And this isn't like some 3k MMR game. This is like a 7.5, 7k MMR game. Blinks in a Diabolic Edict, Pulse Nova. goes to town. Dark Willow helps keep the opponents in place. You just keep doing that for like 15 minutes. You get items that help reduce or mitigate the mana cost to use these abilities, because again, Pulse Nova and Diabolic Edict are pretty demanding cost, pretty mana demanding cost abilities. So Kaya will help reduce that mana cost, increase the damage output, and just overall make Leshrac way more effective. Here's another great one. Make sure you cast Diabolic Edict before you blink in. There we go. And then that's an easy snap. Ooh, the scroll was ready. Doesn't matter. Dead. Now, I think the key secret about this hero is the fact that when you are taking team fights, you can't just jump in and pop all your abilities unless you have a huge advantage or you feel you're very secure. With Medusa and Earthshaker, I'm sure you can pull that off of Leshrac. Typically, however, this is what you're really doing. You're really staying in the back as a hero, and you're just targeting whatever's on the outline of these fights. So typically, if there's a fight here, you would stay around here so that you can't be targeted, or that your Diabolic Edict and your Pulse Nova. See, you just got targeted by a Cunning Blade from Aghs. So your Diabolic Edict and Pulse Nova can target one specific hero and wipe them out and create a 4v5 situation. So as Leshrac, just be careful that unless you feel very, very confident or you have a lot of late game items that give you the survivability, like Yules, or BKB is a very common one, Eternal Shroud, or you know, Kaya Sanj, also great, as well as Shiva's Guard, also a very popular one for Leshrac. Unless you have those items and you feel like you could jump into a fight because you have a lot of saves or you have a lot of counter initiation like Earthshaker, or anyone else I can't think of like right now, like Dark Seer or something, really staying on the edge and targeting those kills, those pick-offs on the back line are really the way to initiate, or rather to play the field as Leshrac during team fights. As tale as old as time, a really great mid laner is Queen of Pain. We mentioned her when playing against, let's say, Leshrac, where you can get a Blade Mail. It's a very common item on Queen of Pain with the Bondage Facet. Queen of Pain with a Bondage Facet and Blade Mail pretty much shuts down or helps counterplay against Leshrac, who doesn't really like to have that Diabolic Edict dealt back to them. Forces them to have to buy a BKB, for example, which you would buy, but maybe not as immediately. For Queen of Pain, just a really dominant laner. I remember people used to talk about maybe the Masochist Facet with Dagon. That meant you could easily just forego the laning stage by, you know, maxing out E, maxing out W, just getting your farm, getting your Dagon as quickly as possible, and then just going to the other lanes and kind of trying to wipe those out. The Bondage Facet, what you're seeing here, is the complete opposite, where you're maxing. Usually you're maxing this out, you really rely on just Scream of Pain to secure last hits on the range creep so you don't get denied. Otherwise, it's really the Bondage Facet. You use that to harass your opponents, kind of push them back, get some life back if possible, and then just do enough damage so that you can dominate the lane, secure the last hit without feeling like you're in real danger here. Look at that. Nice little fight there. There's the Blood Grenade. Probably going to finish him off, if not put him very close. So Queen of Pain is back to being kind of that dominant mid laner, to getting one of her first items, Blade Mail. Now, I know Blade Mail was nerfed in 2 ways in 7.39D. However, it's still a very good item for a hero like Queen of Pain. Gives her the tank ability she wants, lets her be able to right click with the Shadow Strike ability, your first ability, and it gives basically Queen of Pain a continued strength to initiate onto opponents on the different lanes. So here you can see Queen of Pain pretty much dominated her lane. She's 5-0-2. She's gonna go then gank a bottom lane, which should be an easy one here, right? You don't even have to really commit. You can just throw down some nice Shadow Strikes, a quick ult, and Scream of Pain if you want. And I wouldn't say it wipes out everybody. It wipes out a good amount. I mean, look at this Medusa just going down. Usually Medusa's okay tanky during the laning stage, even against some pretty brutal harassing heroes. With Queen of Pain and Void Spirit, I mean, there's nothing you can really do. You know, is there any really a wrong time to pick Earthshaker? He's in a really, really good place right now. At the highest level for Immortal, it makes sense that you would pick Earthshaker. He could be played as 2, 3, 4, and that really messes up with people trying to outdraft or think how the enemy lineup is going to play. He could be early in the fight with initiation with a nice Fisher or Enchant Totem with the Aftershock ability, and then with Ultimate Echo Slam means he can also be first one initiating with that. I think we're about to see one right now. And you can see here, he doesn't even have to show. He can open a Fisher and then pretty much just wipe everyone out right there and then. And you can see he's not even first one in. He's like third one in. So the hero really has just a lot of versatility in what he can do. He can farm really well. Now that they moved, I say now, but for a while now they moved his innate ability Slugger. Now Slugger means he can farm whenever he wants with his abilities. And with Earthshaker having, you know, the shard as well as max leveled in Fisher, it means he can farm up without anyone even really knowing that he's around. And that's what really makes the hero just fantastic. He can pretty much lay down anything. I mean, with the Kaya and the shard, it means you can Fisher, you can enchant totem that creep wave, and it's just gone in a second. And nobody even knows that you're there. You could be hiding in the trees here, and really the creep wave absolutely is demolished. So you farm incredibly fast, you push back lanes really fast. Really easy to push lanes if you're having a hard time, or if the lanes are kind of getting pushed into against you and you're kind of on the back foot in terms of map pressure from the enemy. We haven't looked at it already. Obviously his tectonic buildup is probably the better option. I think against illusion heroes you can opt for his new ridge facet. I can't remember what it's called, riveting ridge or some crap like that. But really the tectonic buildup means you can hit units from even farther away really comfortably. He's gonna wipe it out. There you go. Look at that. Almost got everything easily. Damn, that's annoying. But yeah, usually the tectonic buildup makes it really nice for Earthshaker to pop those Echo Slams, or to land an ability with Aftershock, Blink Fisher, Blink Enchant Totem, and then Aftershock for a little bit of hits there. So I didn't mention it before, but one of the key items to pick up for him is definitely Yashikaya. You can see how fast his abilities just kind of lay out. His Enchant Totem, his Fisher, you can pretty much combo that really quickly with a shard. So you Fisher into Enchant Totem, and you pretty much double stun, double damage the hero or creep wave pretty incredibly quickly. Really strong for a hero like Earthshaker who wants to kind of catch people out and shut them down quickly. Another important factor I should mention is that his two talents, 90 Fisher damage at 10 and then 50 Aftershock damage, is also very important to wipe creep waves to deal a ton of damage. One last thing to talk about is his itemization late game. There's two paths you can really go. Again, this hero doesn't really that many items. You can go BKB if you feel like you're being interrupted or really need that kind of assurability to be able to blink in and pop your abilities. Or alternatively, two really big important items, Octarine Core, which you see a lot on Earthshakers that want to kind of just spam their abilities and don't really need to deal a constant level of burst damage that you would see with people who pick up the other item, Refresher Orb. Refresher Orb means you can double Echo Slam, double Enchant Totem, double Fisher, and it's really great for either taking out massive long range, massive team fights, illusion heroes. The only real problem Earthshaker has, or I would say counters to Earthshaker, is just tanky heroes, and I would say Aeon Disc as well. I know core heroes hate buying Aeon Disc, but honestly Aeon Disc is the really the only way to shut down or kind of prevent Earthshaker from bursting you down in 2 seconds. And the really annoying part about Earthshaker, which you'll probably start noticing in your games, is that he just doesn't show. See, look, he's not really showing. He's just kind of there in and around. And so you kind of get this false sense of like forgetfulness that there's Earthshaker, and there he goes, just wiped out a guy real quick, and he's about to wipe out a second one right here. Look at that. Still really good as a pause 3 offlaner. I know Blade Mail nerfs have people a little unsure if he's good. No, this hero is very good. I'll tell you for 3 key reasons. One, the Battle Hunger changes in previous patches are still very good against certain supports, especially if you have a great pause forward that can follow through on that. The second reason is that Earthshaker, Aghs, Earthshaker too, but Aghs has great solo killing ability, which as a pub player, you know sometimes you have to carry the team on your back, and boy does Aghs have broad shoulders. And then number 3 is that even if you have a bad lane as Aghs, I mean, this is absolutely insane by the way here. Look at that. 1, maybe 2. Yep, there's 2. Oof. The third reason I would say Aghs is fantastic is that if you do have a bad lane, which you're not seeing here, he can farm the jungle on the back here. If you check the minimap, he can farm the jungle here really comfortably. And having Culling Blade and having Blade Mail means that you're gonna absolutely get your Blink Dagger at like 14 to 16 minutes. And it just means that the hero can then play the board very quickly, get those kills, get those stacks that he loves to see for additional strength or armor, depending on the facet you get. Well, you get strength or armor regardless, but you get strength if you pick one-man army facet, which is usually the go-to. And it just makes Aghs incredibly tanky. It means that he can play the late game a lot more comfortable, has a much better scaling, etc. So I should talk about some late game items for Aghs, and that's actually, I think, the second appealing thing for me when I play Aghs, at least, is that he can build a lot of great items that you would typically like and consider. One of the most important ones is probably Aghs Scepter. Aghs Scepter just allows him to not only initiate onto opponents, but also more importantly, reduce the attack damage that they deal, which can be great, especially for late game carries that you can catch in. I think another great item on him that's really very well picked up as well is items like Lotus Orb or Sanjinkaya. Sanjinkaya is a no-brainer. Nanjinkaya lets him do his Culling Blade a little bit harder in terms of damage output, but more importantly, it also gives you a lot of survivability and strength, which Aghs scales very well with, but the more strength, honestly, the better in terms of damage output. The Aghs Scepter also goes really well with your Shard because you can lay down multiple Battle Hungers, but the Battle Hunger also can be applied twice over with Berserker's Call, and then the counter Helix doing damage reduction. So you're slowing them, you're landing, you're dealing a ton of DPS damage, you're hitting multiple people with Battle Hungers, you're hitting multiple Battle Hungers, and this goes really well with a late game item like Octarine Core. We see like Refresher. Refresher is a very common one as well. Double Blade Mail, double BKB, double Culling Blade, right? First Culling Blade doesn't go through. Don't worry, second one's going to go through as well. You're doing pure straight through damage of like 1,000 plus. Pretty nice for Aghs. So in general, this hero just has a lot of late game items that take advantage of what he wants, which is more armor to be able to do more damage, which is then spread through his Aghs Scepter and Aghs Shard. Or he can opt for items to help kind of compensate for the areas where he's weak in, right? He doesn't like to take that much magic damage towards the mid game when he starts working on his Lotus Orb. Can build up a little bit more mana pool with Lotus Orb, with Aghs Scepter, with Sanjinkaya, etc. So the hero has kind of nice options direction depending on your lineup, depending on your responsibility as a hero. As Aghs, is your responsibility to tank it up and just kind of keep playing the field for as long as you can, or is it more about targeting specific heroes, holding them in place, and letting your team do the rest? Okay, so Aghs, I think we talked about pretty heavily in the off lane. I think Dawnbreaker is kind of the other end of the spectrum, right? They have a lot of similarities. You can see here, just like Aghs, Dawnbreaker can farm kind of these side camps really easily and really comfortably with her two abilities. They make farming, especially with Soul Ring, just vastly fast and very efficient for a hero like Dawnbreaker. And really with Blade Mail on top of that, which is a very common item for a hero like on Dawnbreaker, you can again farm up lots of stacks, farm up some jungle camps with it. And this is kind of what sets Aghs and Dawnbreaker apart, which you can probably already guess if you've watched my videos before. It's the fact that if Aghs is kind of the first one to jump in and kind of secure kills, then Dawnbreaker is the opposite of the end of the caboose, so to speak, or the train. Is that Dawnbreaker is always needing someone else to be in the fight first before she can follow through with her ultimate ability. So for Aghs, once you get your Blink Dagger and your Blade Mail, you're kind of trying to secure kills, create some map pressure, create enough space for your team. For Dawnbreaker, it's about assisting those who can scout out the map while you efficiently farm in the meantime, and then you can TP anywhere on the map. In any case, for Dawnbreaker, the hero right now is in a really great place. You can play pretty aggressively with the hero. You can build her with like Echo Saber and with BKB and Shard, and kind of just consistently deal damage through your Starbreaker and Celestial Hammer after initiating with your ultimate, or I say follow through on the initiation that's already being done. The current build for Dawnbreaker, I would definitely say it's Blade Mail, Aghs Scepter. Short, really short amount of time to farm those items, right? This Dawnbreaker got in 23 minutes. That's pretty fast even for a Dawnbreaker. And really, I think the hero also, because of her Solar Charged, which was nerfed in 7.39D, as well as the talents at 15, which used to, I think, have a better like cooldown reduction for Solar Guardian, means that the hero just has a constant level, constant pace of availability to fight. But if there are no fights, you can just keep farming to the end of time to get all her other items, like Refresher, or Shiva's Guard I've seen before, Aghs Scepter I put in here, which is completely fine, or BKB if you feel like your Starbreaker is being interrupted, or you just want to kind of auto attack in. Otherwise, more utility items like Assault Curious and Pipe Insight are also very nice. I mentioned Shiva's Guard as well. So really, Dawnbreaker, great tempo hero, great hero that can have a lot of presence on the map, right? We can already see it's only 22 seconds left for her ultimate ability. And even with the nerfs to her cooldown, she still has a nice pace of the game to always kind of put the fights in her team's favor.